Check out this video. This mom dresses up as a cat and identifies herself as a cat to take on what's going on with woke in our school systems. Check it out.
I am a cat. Meow, meow. I'm not a woman dressed as a cat. I am a cat. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe and confess that I'm a cat? Great. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe that your child or a child from this school would believe that I'm actually a cat? No one. You are right. Truth prevails over imagination. Reality exists. Discernment is innate and something we are biologically wired to have. One look at me and you know this to be true. I am a woman posing as a cat.
What was actually happening at this school district that made you have to dress up as a cat to prove your point?
Well, first of all, Jesse, I'd like you to not misspecies me. I'd like to be addressed as a cat for the entirety of this video, of course.
Of course.
So
I apologize.
This was in my... Thank you. Just inclusivity is all I ask, you know. This was a local school in my neighborhood where there was a member of the school board whose name is Paul Bixler. He is a man. He's very clearly a man. And the only thing he does to identify as a female is put lipstick on. He grew his hair out a little bit, and he wears his deceased wife's clothing to school, to sporting events, to fundraisers, to school events in front of the children. And believe it or not, he actually demands on being identified one of two ways, either Paul, which is a man's name, of course, or Miss Bixler. So it's very clear that he has a gender identity crisis. And not only does he appear in front of the children and insist that the children, you know, define him as a woman, but he sits on the board and he's making decisions for these children. And the point that I was trying to make as a cat was that, I mean, obviously, you can't just identify as whatever you want, and you can't demand that other people identify you as whatever you want. But someone with this kind of mental illness can enjoy that mental illness all they want in the comfort of their own home. But when you put them in charge of children, we're talking about a new type of indoctrination. And that's what's really terrifying, is seeing these people in charge of our kids' education.
Yeah, if he has to grieve over his dead wife, he can grieve privately, but wearing his deceased wife's dress and putting on lipstick and growing your hair out and insisting you're a woman in front of, what grade is this precisely?
This is elementary school. So these are young, vulnerable minds. And the teachers, the rest of the school board, are identifying him as mixed while he's talking in just the deepest manly voice that he was born with. And so to see these parents and these adults take no responsibility for the education of these kids and to teach them true right and wrong and true biology and true facts and science and truths is just so alarming that we have this in the school system.
More power to this mom. I mean, good for her. Not only just coming with that amazing speech that she gave about how just silly and crazy and awful and damaging the woke that's going on in our school system is doing to our children, but she dresses up as a cat and she says she identifies as a cat. I mean, that was, you know, power to her. That was a good way to really get her message across. As I was listening to her and she was talking about this teacher that, you know, dresses up a little bit as a woman and wants to be identified as a woman, you know, I'm listening to her and I'm thinking, oh, here's another, you know, crazy that's teaching our children and it's being allowed. And then when I hear that he's dressing up in his deceased wife clothing, I mean, there's obviously something going on here. When people grieve in different ways, and for the school system to allow this to happen, they obviously know that he was a man before his wife passed away. And all of a sudden, after his wife passed away, he's now identifying as a woman and wearing his wife's clothes. For the school system to allow this to happen, to allow him to grieve out like that in front of our children who are elementary age, is not only ridiculous, but where the heck are we going here? Who are putting these people in power? I mean, this guy needs mental health support. And I'm so frustrated that whenever clear signs are there that someone has mental health issues, that they are not being supported and helped the way that they should be helped. This guy obviously needs to see a psychiatrist. This guy obviously needs more support around his grieving. And for the school system to allow him to do and be what he's doing in front of children that are so vulnerable in that age is just so, I don't even have a word for it. It's just crazy all the way.